a young person came to you today and said, "Listen, I want to be in the sports management business or in the sports industry, not as a player, but something in the essence of doing something like you're doing," what would you give them in terms of advice as to where should they start? I mean, is there something they need to study? Is there a connection they need to make? Is there a better state they should live in? Like, are these some of the things that do matter in this industry or not?
And that's a great question and often asked. There's a lot of delusion now. This is a lot of sports management programs, and I like them. I started the sports management program at Syracuse. I think one of the top ones in the country. The chair of that board and taught at NYU for several years. I think it's important if you can get a sports marketing degree, but I'm more of a fan of the dual degree. What I would tell kids out there that want to become sports marketers in the sports business is become a good business person. I'm a big fan of get a business degree. Figure out what type of business you're good at, and when you're good at something, then you can transfer over and be good at that with a sports tint to it. So I think the sports thing is the icing, not the cake. So the cake is the business principle. Are you a marketer? Are you a finance person, accounting? Are you a writer, an editor, a video? Are you into magazines, physical therapy, sporting goods? What type of the sports business are you good at? Are you a salesperson? Are you a marketer? So I'm a big fan of just become a really good salesperson at the beginning or become a good business person. And if you can go work for a great company to teach you how to become a good business person, then start looking at the sports opportunities to see if that industry still interests you, given your strength. I think to go find, to me, what I would do if I was a younger, knowing what I know is I get out of this country. I think there's a lot of opportunity in the United States still to this day. I think there's still very much huge growth opportunities, but even bigger abroad. I mean, there is so much growth. So if you can go get some experience here in the US and then go to Europe with soccer, China with even soccer, basketball, Russia. I mean, that hockey league in Russia is bigger than the hockey league here. So, if you love hockey, I would get off my ass. I'd go to Russia and I'd go work for that league because there's so much more to be done in promotion and marketing, PR, and everything else. I mean, the Premier League is so big in Europe, and it still has so much room for growth on the marketing and on the
But do
business.
you feel that worldwide sports hold the same weight as US sports? Because it seems like, the United States has such a system and process around everything it does, like, and there's so much litigation and reality and agencies and everything that it makes it almost like, even though I know it's not easy, but it makes it simple to understand the systems that govern kind of like these different models, But like, if you go overseas, it seems like there's so much corruption, and you got to bribe this guy to talk to that guy. I mean, again, this could be a misconstrued understanding of the
I think
system
it's
out here.
misconstrued. I think, listen, you're going to work for, a soccer team in Spain. Are you going to come home and your friends and family, everybody going to be all that excited? No, like if you work for the Yankees, yeah. But I think, yeah, listen, I think there's some confusion about the way things are run, but it's changing, it's growing. I mean, you got to go where the business ultimately is going to be. And if you follow what's going on in European sports, it's growing, becoming much more business, marketing savvy, but it's still very much in the infantile stages. I look at European sports, China, Japanese baseball, very mature as far as their fan loyalty, fan bases, but from the marketing and all the business stuff, I look at it as like US sports was in the 60s and 70s. And knowing what I know, if you have some experience, if you have the balls to get up your ass and go live in another country, I think it's going to be a phenomenal run over there. And you see the American money going there. You see more Americans buying in and buying into those teams. I think there's a lot of growth there. I think there's a lot to be done, even in cricket in India, actually cricket around the world. There's still a lot of stuff. As Americans, we have a little bit of a New York attitude. We think if it's not happening here, it's not happening. And it just ain't true. It's just not true. There's so much stuff going on around the world that is equal, if not better, in so many cases than what we have going on here. But of course, we don't want to admit that. We think our sports is the best. We have the best this, we have the best that. But there's some very serious fanatical fans going on around this world that are diehard, ready to spend even much more money than they are right now on their teams. It just hasn't matured to that point yet. And if you can get yourself in the middle of that, if you're somebody in their 20s, not a bad way to go.